The 2024 racing season just ended, and guess what? There's no break at all because there's special testing happening in Abu Dhabi right now where teams test their tires and see how drivers get used to their new teams. One of the coolest things to watch is Carlos Sainz and how he's doing with Williams. It looks amazing both when he's racing and when he's not. Plus, he brought money to help the Williams team get better. But everyone's also watching Yuki Tsunoda's first test with Red Bull because everyone wants to know who will be Max Verstappen's teammate next year. Can the Japanese driver prove he's good enough, or will he have to stay with the smaller Red Bull team for another year? The testing is happening right now, and drivers are trying out the cars they'll drive for the next few years. As you know, lots of drivers switch teams, including Sainz going to Williams, Hülkenberg going to Sauber, Ocon going to Haas, and lots of new young drivers joining like Duan, Bortoleto, Antonelli, and Lawson, who's kind of new too. This season is going to be super exciting, but for that to happen, we need to see the teams do well in this testing and see where their cars are going for next year. Carlos Sainz has been doing really well. According to a report from Motorsport, his best time out of 60 laps was 1 minute 24 seconds and 435 milliseconds, which is pretty good considering he's driving one of the slowest cars right now. Of course, comparing times now would be silly because every car is running in different ways with different tires and different amounts of fuel. So just because Sainz was faster than Leclerc doesn't mean he suddenly got magical skills in his new team. But it does show that Williams might score points way more often than they do now. And get this, Santander, the Spanish bank that worked with Ferrari for 18 years, is now giving Williams lots of money that they can use in their wind tunnel. They really need it because their drivers crashed the car so many times in 2023 that the team had to stop working on their 2025 car development too. Alex Albon is going to be tested big time because we saw with Sargent that he had no problems at all. But when Colapinto showed up, the Thai driver felt pressure right away. The situation with Sainz is going to be even crazier because we're talking about a driver who won 4 races when he was at Ferrari and regularly finished on the podium. So when Wolff was excited about getting Sainz, he wasn't just being nice, but like I said earlier, there are other drivers we're watching closely, like Yuki Tsunoda and his Red Bull test. This is probably the most important chance the Japanese driver will get as part of the Red Bull family because his connections with Honda will always make it, so he won't be the first choice for that seat. Right now, Lawson has the better chance, and with all the energy the current RB driver is showing on track, you could say maybe he's been promised something we don't know about. But remember when Ricciardo did that tire test at Silverstone? He proved he still has what it takes to race in Formula One. So trust me when I say Red Bull will care a lot about Tsunoda's lap times in the RB20 if they're as fast as Verstappen's, just like how Ricciardo's times were compared earlier in 2024 at Silverstone with the Dutch driver and the top teams. If Yuki can match that, he'll seriously have a chance to join the main Austrian team starting in 2025. It's safe to say these times will be compared to the RB drivers, who are testing right now like Lawson and Iwasa, because if the difference isn't too big, then Lawson might get an interesting chance to prove himself at Red Bull, even though many people think his lack of experience might make the young New Zealand driver burn out while trying to be more successful. A lot depends on how these two perform at the Yas Marina track, but things aren't looking good for Perez, who admitted for the first time in his career that his seat is in danger and that the meeting with the team bosses will decide if he and Red Bull have a future together. One big problem with this testing is that we're not seeing Lewis Hamilton in red. Even though we knew it wouldn't happen because Mercedes had lots of things planned for the 7-time world champion, it still hurts not to see him drive and control the Ferrari car as early as possible. Hamilton admitted this himself, but Vassar has been sure that the British driver won't need much time to get used to the car, which gives us hope that by the first race in Australia in March, Hamilton will have plenty of time to get comfortable with the car. When talking about missing the Abu Dhabi test with Ferrari because of his Mercedes duties, Hamilton said, "I know Vassar wanted it to happen for me. I was torn about it. Driving the red car for the first time in Abu Dhabi does excite me. In a perfect world, you get to drive it and not be seen and do the first test next year. When I brought it up with Toto, they had all these plans that I've got to go see some sponsors and say goodbye. I don't think it was ever going to be allowed. Even if I asked for it, but I'm under contract with the team until December 31st, and that's totally fine. It doesn't bother me because I wasn't going to do the test anyway. I told Fred that's not what I want to do. Am I missing out on something? For sure, it definitely makes things harder and makes the start of the year more difficult, but we'll do our best to recover from it. To make things even harder, Hamilton's first time driving will be in a car from 2022, the SF75, but if there's any driver out there who can handle all these challenges, it's definitely Lewis. If we look at Mercedes, though, things aren't perfect. They're either because they haven't been able to test the car with their 2025, rookie Antonelli because of some health problems the young Italian has. Kimi Antonelli is the star we're missing in this testing because he's sick, and he's been replaced by former F2 champion Frederick Vesti. Frederick has gotten lots of nice words from Wolff, but saying he could get an F1 seat right now is probably reaching too far. However, if he proves how good he is here in Abu Dhabi, he might get a shot with a Mercedes-connected team. Let's not forget that. Alpine is such a team starting in 2025, and Mercedes always likes to move their young academy drivers to their customer teams. Even though Vesti's chances to race in F1 will be hurt big time by the fact that Paul Aron, a Formula 2 driver, has been signed to Alpine's academy after being part of the Mercedes family, which shows that if they're going to promote someone, it's going to be from their inner circle. Make no mistake, Antonelli will feel lots of pressure because he'll be part of one of the most competitive teams on the grid with basically zero F1 experience except for a couple of testing sessions. Let's not forget how Monza ended up for him. And he's going up against Russell, who has won races and is basically the team leader until proven otherwise. It's going to be interesting to see how things work out at the top. But that's not the only thing we're going to watch. The middle team's battle is going to get pretty crowded too. For starters, we're going to see how Ocon and Haas work together, with the Frenchman being let go from Alpine earlier without his agreement, and that can only add more fire to prove that Haas can fight for much more than positions below 5th place. Sauber will be on a mission to see if the late-season improvement that happened from Qatar onward can continue in 2025, and with a brand-new pair of Bortoleto and Hülkenberg, the team will try to score as many points as possible before they change to Audi with completely new engines and cars. Hülkenberg did his magic at Haas and was the main point scorer for the team's amazing 7th place result in the Constructor Championship in 2024. But whether he can do that again with the Swiss-German team, only time will tell. With all this in mind, what do you think about the 2024 postseason testing, and who do you think will benefit the most from it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're interested in Hamilton's statement about his future at Ferrari starting in 2025, make sure to check out the video that's appearing on your screen right now.